Good evening, students. We discussed about the multifunctional variables, several variables. We consider only two variables, several functions of several variables. We discuss about the limit. That we know that there are two types of limits. One is simultaneous limit, another is iterated limit. By repeated limit, functions of several variables. Limit is two types of simultaneous limit and iterated limit. Simultaneous limit, that we know, if limit xy tends to ab, matlab x tends to a and y tends to b. Any function which has two variables x and y. So we consider here only two variables. Suppose I take example limit xy tends to 0 1, that means x tends to 0, that means this x is tends to 0, that means this, if this is a, this is x tends to a, x tends to 0, that means it is 0, x will tends towards this 0 value, and y tends towards 1, that means this value y tends towards 1, that means x value tends towards 0 and y value tends towards 1. Suppose it is 1. If any function we take 3x plus y. So if we put limit xy tend to 0 1, 3x plus y, limit xy tend to 0 1, 3x plus y, in place of x I put 0 because x tends to 0, plus y tends to 1, so I put here 1. So 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. Similarly, other examples are such type. Suppose limit xy tends to 0 0, x square plus y square, x value 0, y value also 0. Then 0 plus 0 is equal to 0. So limit exists. Okay. Today we have to discuss about another type of limit which is called iterated limit by repeated limit. Iterated limit. Repeated limit or iterated limit. These are all the examples of simultaneous limit. Okay. Second type of limit, iterated limit or repeated limit. Repeated limit or repeated limit. What is the difference between it? Is in these cases we have to repeat the limit. Suppose I tell that how we make it changes in that suppose limit y tends to a, limit x tends to b, function of xy. Here we have to repeat the limit. Limit y tends to a here you see that limit y tends to a, and we repeat the limit again, x tends to b, but only yx variable changes. How to notify it? Now, if any function of two variables, f of xy. So suppose I take one example. Suppose limit x tends to 0 and limit y tends to 0, f of xy. Suppose f of xy is equal to y minus x 1 plus x divided by y plus x, it is y 1 plus y. Okay, that means we can write limit x tends to 0 or limit y tends to 0, in place of f of xy, I write this one, y minus x 1 plus x divided by y plus x by 1 plus y. First, what we do, now we have to put first limit y tends to 0, then x tends to 0. But in these cases, we simultaneously put x is equal to 2, x tends to 2, y into 2. We would simultaneously I put in this case. Suppose here, limit xy tends to 0, 0, x plus y, x minus y. I directly put x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 0, x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0 plus 0, 0, 0 minus 0, 0, 0 by 0 undefined. We cannot be determine 0 by 0 what is the value of 0 by 0. It is undefined, but L'Hospital rule cannot be applied here. Okay, but in case of single variable we can apply the L'Hospital rule, but in this case we cannot apply the L'Hospital rule. Okay, L'Hospital derivative we consider, here also derivative of that consider, then we put the limit, that is called L'Hospital rule. But here in case of multiple variable or several variables, here is the consider only two variables, we cannot apply the L'Hospital rule. But in this case, first we put y, then we put x. But in this case, simultaneously I put x and y value. But in this case, we put first y, then x. Suppose I apply first y value, x tends to 0, which one is near, it will apply first. So this will apply first. In place of y, I write here 0. 0 minus x 1 plus x divided by 0 plus x 1 plus 0. Okay, only we put y is equal to 0. Here 0 minus x 1 plus x remain as such. In place of y write 0 plus x 1 plus y, 1 plus 0. So we have to put limit x tends to 0 to remain as such. I find out the value of it, minus x by plus x. Here it remain 1 plus x divided by 1. Then what is the value out? It will come out limit x tends to 0. It is nothing but minus 1. It is 1 plus x divided by 1 means 1 plus x. That means it becomes, value will come like this. Then we put here minus, it will come, because minus will come this side, limit x tends to 0. Limit x tends to 0 means in place of x we put 0, then 1 plus 0. That means here it is minus 1, 1 plus 0 means 1, it will come, answer is minus 1. Okay, so in this case that means we first put the limit which is very close to the function. After applying the limit, then you find out the result. After getting the result, a second time you apply the another limit. So this is called repeated limit by iterated limit. So any of the value you can consider in this case. Okay, this is, so suppose we take another example. Suppose limit x tends to 1, limit y tends to 2, we consider, suppose s square plus y square. It is a function of two variables, x and y are two variables. So what we do, now we have to put, it is another example, first y value. Okay, we keep limit x tends to 1 as such and put the y value here. A square is remain as such, y value is 2 square, so 4. It is becomes s square plus 4. Now again you put x value is x, it tends to 1 value. That means in place of x I write 1 square. 1 square is 1 square plus 4, which is equal to 5. Answer is 5. So that means the limit which is very close to the function we have to apply first, then we apply the next limit. Okay, this is how the repeated limit by iterated limit we can apply in the two variable function. Next is how to integrate the several variable functions, or in this case we consider two variable functions. How to make integration? It is same method as single, but here double integration or triple integration it will comes like. But condition is that if the integration takes place with respect to x, if integration takes place with respect to x, then integrate we have to respect to x, then keep y as constant. Keep y as constant. Similarly, if integration takes place with respect to y, then keep x as constant. Then keep x as constant. Suppose I take one example. Suppose we take the integration, we put the lower limit and upper limit. Suppose 0 to y, it becomes 5x minus 7y. Suppose I integrate with dx. That means this is integrated with respect to x. So I keep this y constant. How can we solve it? Now this is minus 1, minus function. That means we have to separate each one. How to separate? 0 to 2y, 5x dx minus 7y dx 0 to 2y, because we know, suppose there is a function fx minus gx, we integrate with dx, we can write integration fx dx minus integration gx dx, that already we know from the single variable. In the same case, 0 to 2y 5x dx minus 0 to 2y 7y dx. Then how we integrate? Now integration 0 to 2y 5x dx minus integration 0 to 2y 7y dx. 7y dx. How we solve it? Now individually we have to solve. 5 is constant, it comes outside. 5 is constant, comes inside. 0 to 2y x dx minus, I already told you that if with respect to x, if we integrate, keep y as a constant. So this 7y is constant, it comes outside. 0 to 2y dx. 0 to 2y dx. Then how we integrate? Now it is 5. Here is x dx, matlab s square by 2. We get 0 to 2y minus 7y is constant, x 0 to 2y. The integration of dx is equal to x. Now you substitute 5 in place of x, we write 2y square. 2y square means 4y square by 2. Upper limit, minus lower limit, 0 by 2, 0 square is 0, 0 by 2, 0, 0 of 5, 0. So I do not write here. Otherwise you write here 0 minus 7y, upper limit first 2y, then lower limit 0, 0, x is equal to 0, 0 into 7y 0, so minus, here it will come minus, minus become, when you remove it, plus is equal to 0, then what is the value? It will come 5 into 4, 20 y square by 2 minus 7 into 2, 14 y square. Okay, then it becomes to 10 y square minus 14 y square is equal to minus 4 y square is the answer. So that means if we differentiate with respect to x keeping y as constant, if we differentiate with respect to y keeping x is constant, suppose another example, we differentiate integration 0 to 2x x square y dy. We differentiate with respect to y, so x is kept constant, so it will come outside. It will go outside. S square integration 0 to 2x dy by y. It will come around s square ln y. Ln y, that means 0 to 2x. So this value it will come around s square ln, in place of y I write 2x, this one minus 0, so s square ln 0, ln 0, ln 0, so if this value will not come around, otherwise so it will come around s square ln 2x. This is the answer. Okay. Suppose we have double integration or triple integration, whatever is there, double integration, suppose a to b integration c to d function f of xy dx dy. How we integrate? Now in this case my formula is, we have keep this integration as such. We integrate the nearest one, make it square bracket c to d f of xy, first one we integrate first dx, then dy will come around outside the bracket. After integration, the same as single variable, after integration again you integrate with second integration. Another one, if it will change, value will also change. Suppose it is a complex CD integration a to b f of xy dy dx. Suppose such that, how we do, take this integration outside CD, find square bracket f of xy, here a to b dy first, so integrate with dy and keep the dx. Okay, in this way we can, this is integrated as like the single variables, and again we have to differentiate with respect to x. After this integration is over, the result of this integration is differentiated again with respect to x. This is all about the several variable functions, limit, derivative, and this is the integration. Suppose we have the partial differential equation. Partial matlab I already told you how the for single cases how it will be used in double variable or multiple variables. Partial differentiation. Phone take on island में. Hello. हाई नाई देबा तुम्हें तो ना देबा बोले 11टा को 11टा को ना आसबा बोले ना ही हवा 11टा को टाइम देवा अच्छी तुम्हें इंटरेस्ट बोले आसबा करब नाई बोले नाई हवा 11टा पर हो गला बोले ना करबी हाँ आस तुम देख करवा बोले आस नाई न बोले ना आसब बोले भल कहीं तुम ना आसब बोले तुम मना करदेव हेल्ले मु अलग पिला पाक जापारि बहुत पिला अच्छा ना आडमिशन करने को चाहून तुम तो ना हो बोले कहीं तुम्हें तुम इच्छा होनी बापा माँ ना चाहून तुम बुझ पैसा कहाँ आणब कौन करब कौट को आणब बाप माँ कथा मानब फास्ट ना तुम भल पढ़ी सीना बाणी भार रखवा कर तो बाणी भार रखवा कर हम 70+ 60 मार्क रखले सीना हवा कर आर वर्ष पढ़वा करब चिंता कर कौन था एकटा वर्ष ना होइला बोले कौन सब जीवनटा छेड़ी जावा कि नाई हवा बोले तो आर वर्ष एग्जाम दवा जदि भल कर बोले बाणी भार के पाइब कि रेभेन्सा को पाइबा कर बाप माँ न चाहून तो मु कौन करबी मु ना बुझी बाबू तुम कथा मानवा कर तुम्हें तो कहूच जे तुम MSc 4 वर्ष हो BSc 4 वर्ष है छाड़ी सारा पाठ भी किसी माना ना थी एठी आसी कौन करब 16 मसीहा +3 कर सारा BD कर सारा तुम्हें तो पाठ मना ना थी एठी आसी तुम हैरान हवा ना फेल फाल हवा प्रति वर्ष गोटे 2टा पिला जाऊन बिना सर्टिफिकेट रे तुम्हें भी 16 मसीह पास कर केते दिन काल कलण एबे कौट करब बाबू नहीं केनता ये तो मल्टीपल चॉइस था मन इच्छा मारवा कर 10-15टा बाजी जीवा सेटा कौन मन थी पाठ था बाबू ये पाठ परा मदघोष विद्या 1 साल छाड़देव भी ना मन रहा हाँ देख तुम आसवा कर बोले 11टा को आसवा कर नाई बोले ना लिखिदेव अलग पिला पाक जीवा करी 11टा को टाइम दे पाबा ना 11टा ना 11टा तुम्हें तो बापा माँ के बुझा कर ना बुझे बाबू तुम्हें शुण बाबू हाँ शुण बाबू तू जदि के ना करू तो पाठ मना ना थिबा तू जबरदस्ती एडमिशन करवा करू ना फेल हो बाबू तुम ये पाठ एंता नहीं ना जे तुम्हें एंता आसिक लिखिक पढ़वा कर बीडी कर बहुत तो बाहर था पक्का पकापकी कर ताप पढ़ापढ़ी करवा करू ना बापा माँ तो ठीक कहन पाठ तो मन ना थी चिंता पड़ी फास्ट सेमिस्टर सीना सुजा पाठ था तो कष्ट था बाबू मुझे भिड कर आ ना कथा तो हाँ कह बोले आसबा करू ना बोले मना करदेव बापा माँ तो ठीक कहन हाँ देख partial differentiation I already told you about the single variables so this I will tell about the partial in the multiplication variables in this case suppose we consider a function z suppose z is a function of x and y so two variables x and y suppose we differentiate z with respect to x keeping y is a constant. If we differentiate z, suppose dou z keeping x is with respect to x, so y is remain as constant. If we differentiate z with respect to y, keep y x as a constant. Here is only this is the two cases arises partial differentiation. We know that what is the coefficient it will come. Now the coefficient for dou z by dou x is equal to limit, suppose h tends to 0. How we write? Now f x plus h, because we differentiate with respect to x, so we add something else 0 into y is kept constant, this one minus, we have to subtract whatever the function, because suppose it is 5.1, 5 h which is 0.1, 5.1, y is kept constant, this is subtracted from here, that means 5.1 minus 5, 0.1, 0.1 divided by h, whatever 0.1, তাহলে 5.0.1.1, it will come around same thing. Similarly, that means this is the tangent, we know that the first derivative means matlab it is a tangent with x axis, tangent with the x axis, where the 3 dimension, that means suppose this is the place, suppose this is y, this is the x axis, z axis is such type, it will go towards this one. Suppose this is a point, suppose this is a point in the surrounding, this has x value, this has y value, this has also z value. So here z value is x, y, z, any point of the function. Okay, similarly, if we differentiate dou z with respect to y, limit h tends to 0, f x is kept constant, y plus h minus same function whatever we take, we subtract this one, then h. Okay, this is also the slope of the tangent with respect to the y axis, f of x y at point, same any point, suppose any point here x y z, here x y z, 3 dimensions, suppose this point is here, it is x axis, it is y axis, and it is the z axis. Okay, this is the z axis. So this is the 3 value it will come, that means this is x axis, this is y axis, z axis here, because if we take top one, it will come here x axis, here y axis, here z axis is surrounding this one. So x, y, z axis is the point, and we get the tangent of this slope. If we take second order partial derivative, if it will come around second order partial derivative, second order partial derivative, how we signify this one? With respect to x, dou rho square z by dou s rho square. Similarly, second order partial derivative with respect to y, how we write? Now dou rho square z by dou y rho square. Okay, suppose we differentiate this z, which is a function of xy with respect to x and y, that means with respect to x and with respect to y we have to differentiate. How we differentiate? Now dou z by dou x dou y, that means if we differentiate with respect to x and also y, how we find out? Now you find out dou by dou x, here is the left side, we keep it, then we first find out dou z by dou y with respect to y, then we have to differentiate with x. We take one example, then it is easy for you. Example 1. Suppose we have a function z is a function of xy which is equal to s rho square plus y rho square plus s rho square y rho square. We have to differentiate with dou z by dou x. Dou z by dou x. How we differentiate? Now dou by dou x, which is this one, s square, plus dou by dou x with y square, plus dou by dou x, s square, y square. This is s square derivative is 2x. This is constant 0. This is x is y is constant, comes outside, then s derivative is 2x. So answer is 2x plus 2x y square. Similarly, if we differentiate with dou z by dou y, dou z by dou y, that means we have to dou by dou y s square, dou by dou y y square, dou by dou y s square y square. With respect to derivative y, so it will become 0. So it is becomes 2y. So it is becomes x is constant, comes outside, it becomes 2y. Answer is 2y plus 2y s square. Suppose we have to take double derivative. That means dou z by dou square z by dou x square. ता मतलब dou by dou x, dou z by dou x. I can write this one like this one. So we take dou by dou x, dou z by dou x is this one, this answer. So I keep this one here, 2x y square. So this will be, I can write in dou by dou x 2x plus dou by dou x 2x y square. So it will come 2x is 2 plus y is constant, y square, it will come outside, 2x is 2. So answer is 2 plus 2y square. Similarly, if you take dou square z by dou y square, I can write dou by dou y, dou z by dou y. So dou by dou y, we write dou z by dou y as like this, 2y plus 2y x square, which we can write dou by dou y 2y plus dou by dou y 2y s square, which is equal to 2 plus x is constant, s square comes outside, it becomes 2. Now it becomes 2 plus 2s square. This is the answer. Same thing. Suppose we have to find out dou z, dou x, dou y, dou square z. How we can find out? Now we take dou by dou x, in this one dou z by dou y. That means dou by dou x, dou z by dou y is this one, 2y plus 2y s square. So if you take dou by dou x, 2y plus dou by dou x, 2y s square, because x we have differentiate, it is 2 is constant, this one will come 0, 2 is constant, y is constant, derivative of constant with respect to x is 0 because it is y variable. Here is dou by dou x, 2y is constant, comes outside, x square is 2x is equal to 4xy. Answer is 4xy. This is how we can find out the partial derivative, second order partial derivative. Okay, now I will end here. Next class we will study about maxima minima, how to find out for multiplication variable.